Hello everyone, my name is Jonathan House, and today we'll be learning how to create a song from scratch in GarageBand. Before we get started, here's a preview of what we'll be creating today. This video is not meant to be a beginner's tutorial on how to use GarageBand in general, but strictly how to use BeatHawk within GarageBand. We'll be layering native GarageBand tracks and BeatHawk tracks. If you want to see a beginner's guide on how to use GarageBand, please let me know in the comments. BeatHawk is my favorite app to use with GarageBand because it sounds amazing, it's very affordable, and it works seamlessly within GarageBand. To run BeatHawk inside a GarageBand song after purchasing it, simply tap on this plus icon, go to External, and tap Audio Unit Extensions. Then you'll see the BeatHawk app as an option to run inside GarageBand. You're essentially using an app within an app, and it works great. BeatHawk comes with a couple of instruments preloaded, but you'll need to purchase some additional ones to follow this tutorial. Don't worry though, the prices are very affordable and they sound great. To use instruments you purchased, tap on Browser. You'll then see them on the far left. Tapping on an instrument will expand the options of all the different performances. Select what you want to use, then tap Load. Then tap the X icon here. The next screen will take you to some controls where you can adjust the volume, pan, pitch, reverb, delay, and more. Alright everybody, here's what you're going to need for today's tutorial. First, an iPad with GarageBand, obviously, the BeatHawk iPad app, a MIDI keyboard or digital piano, an adapter to plug in your keyboard into your iPad, and optional are speakers or headphones. So before we get started, let's talk about BeatHawk a little bit. BeatHawk is developed by UVI and it's around $10 in the App Store. This app has so many features and I've only used just a fraction of what it's able to do. Within the app, you can go to Browser to purchase instruments, sounds, beats, and more. You can also check out samples before you buy. For this tutorial, I'm going to use the strings ensemble. Within this pack, you get so many individual instruments, each with many different performances. What I love about BeatHawk is the affordability of not only the app itself, but the individual instruments. They also have frequent sales and discounts of their instrument packs, so be on the lookout for that. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. So open GarageBand and tap Create New Song. We'll go ahead and select Keyboard here. Here's what it looks like when you first open it, but we're going to change some of the settings before we start recording. Tap on the little red icon here to bring up the keys. Here's what it looks like when you tap on the on-screen keys, but in this tutorial, I'll be using my personal digital piano with the sustain pedal. Turn the volume all the way down on your piano, so you only hear the audio coming from GarageBand. Tap this little timeline icon to remove the on-screen keys. So now let's adjust the length of the song here. Just slide your finger up a tad and we'll adjust it back down once we have something a little bit more final. I have some ideas in my head, so I'm just going to play through some of those just to get a feel of what tempo we want to use. Okay, looks like I need a faster tempo here. I'm just going to tap this little gear icon at the top, right around 128. Yeah, that's good. Now let's start recording. let's remove that little mistake at the beginning. We'll move up the recording close to the beginning of the project. Now, let's run through some spots and see how it sounds without the metronome. Sounds good? Yeah, I like that. That sounds good. Okay, there's a couple of timing issues, but not enough to re-record it. Let's do this. Tap on the green strip and let's make some edits. I like working with MIDI because we can make edits or corrections to each note we play, even the sustain at the bottom. All right, that sounds good. Yeah, I like that. All right, now that I have the piano where I want it, let's add an orchestra behind it. Just strings for now, so let's go ahead and we'll use BeatHawk for this. It's always good to do a little research on how an orchestra is set up. So if you want, take some time, Google the ranges of the string section in an orchestra. So if you go to Google, type in orchestra string ranges, and you'll see you have the bass at the bottom, cellos slightly above that, then you have the viola, then you have the violin. So it's important to know, in general, the highest string instrument and the lowest string instrument. All right, so first I'm going to start with the bass here. Now on this screen, we can adjust the volume, we can adjust the pan. Now let's start recording. Okay, now that we have our bass track recorded, let's go ahead and add another instrument. Let's go ahead and add the viola. Now let's start recording. Whoops, made a little mistake there, but that's okay. We'll go through how to fix that. Now that that's done, let's fix this little mistake. Okay, tap on the green strip and select Edit. You can see that I pressed 2 wrong keys here, but quickly after that I corrected myself. I'll tap and drag to select these 2 notes. I'll tap one of them and then select Delete. I'm going to tap and drag on these 2 correct notes, bring them back a little bit. Much better. While I'm here, I'll go ahead and adjust some of these levels. Let's go back to BeatHawk and let's choose the violin. Okay, so I just noticed that my recording was cut off at the very beginning. I'll just tap on the green performance and expand it to the left to bring up the very beginning. It all sounds a little too robotic, a little too flat, and that's partly because we're not 100% mimicking what an orchestra sounds like when we're playing it. So there's one thing that can really help with that. When someone's playing a real instrument, there are little nuances to the performance that you just don't get with digital software instruments like the ones we're using here. So one thing we can do to kind of help mimic that a little bit and mimic more of a live performance or a real performance is adjusting the volume throughout the song on some of these string sections. So on this second track here, the first BeatHawk track, we're going to tap on the red icon and go to automation. That's going to expand everything a bit, and now you see these new horizontal lines across our performances. That's our volume. We're going to use that line, raise and lower it in parts, and insert just a little bit more character. Tap and drag over to the right, and now you have this little keyframe dot here. So we're going to drag that to the right to the beginning of the track. So right now, still nothing has changed with the volume. It's the same volume that it was when we started, but we're going to zoom in. And we're going to tap on that dot. We're going to copy, and then we're going to paste it over here. We're going to tap and drag on these 2 dots, copy and paste. I'm going to tap the first dot and bring it down because I want these instruments to fade in as they start playing. And throughout their performance, I want there to be this kind of ebb and flow to the volume. Okay, that's sounding pretty good. I'm just going to solo this track so we can hear it a little bit better. You can hear it a little bit, which is kind of what we want. You don't want this insane amount of up and down change in the volume here. Preview this a couple times, make sure you get it where you want it. We're going to copy those 3 dots, move this over, and we are going to paste. So we have this pattern. I want it to be somewhat consistent. That sounds good. Okay, move that back a little bit. Sounds pretty good. All right, let's copy these 2 and paste. I'm going to adjust this a little bit. There we go. So at bar 18, there's a little pause in the piano performance. So I want to mimic that same pause in our strings. So I'm going to get a little bit more of a dip to have the strings just about fade out when the piano fades out, and then fade back in when the piano starts playing again. And again, you don't have to do this process. I like to do it because it just adds a tiny bit of character, some fade ins, fade outs. It feels more like a natural performance. I'm going to select these. I'm going to copy those 2 dots. We have another break over here in the piano performance, same break as before. So I want that same fade out, fade in on these strings. All right, let's go ahead and play this back and see how it sounds. All right, getting there. Let's tap and drag and select all of these dots. We're going to copy those, bring the slider back to bar 29 and paste. Let's go ahead and play this back and see how it sounds. We have our final really extreme dip in volume here on the piano part. Again, we want to do that same volume dip with the strings just to give it a little bit more of a natural transition. So again, right now, all we're doing is we are just trying to match the performance timing with the piano. Okay, I'm going to select these, copy those dots, and then that should end the song on this instrument. Yeah, so we have that fade out there at the end. Let's go ahead and drag that dot to the right and all the way down. Adjust this one a little bit. Okay, let's play this back. Yeah, that's sounding a little bit closer to what I had in mind. That's a lot better. All right. All right, so when you're happy with that, tap done on the top right. All right, now that that's done, I'm going to repeat this step a few more times. So I think now's a good time to fast forward through the video so we don't get just awfully tired of this song by the end of the tutorial. Okay, let's play this back. Okay, so I'm really liking how this song is turning out, but there's a couple of more things I want to add just to give it a little bit more character. I'm going to add a timpani and a cymbal swell. So we're going to do classical percussion here. And again, this was a really cheap digital instrument to buy. I'm going to go to instruments and percussions, and let's do timpani roll. All right. Now on this screen, we can adjust the volume, we can adjust the pan, we can adjust a lot of things before we even adjust settings in GarageBand. Okay, and like any other instrument on the timpani roll, I've got my external piano hooked up, and I'm basically just going to play through the song, tap on the right key. That sounds good. Now I was a little late, so I need to bring that up a little bit. So just tap and drag to the left. We're going to add a cymbal swell. And let's go to this keyboard tab. So let's tap on this little icon called Alchemy Synth here at the bottom. This is actually a really nice synthesizer that's built right in GarageBand, and you've got all the controls there on the right. You've got options for arpeggio, scale, sustain. You have really a fully capable synth right here. So let's tap on this epic cloud formation here, and let's go down to sound effects and cymbal swell. And as soon as we tap on that, you see all of our knobs there on the right. And let's record it. And just like the timpani roll, you kind of have to time it just right. And that sounds good. Let's adjust the volume a little bit. I'm going to actually bring the volume down, bring up the reverb slightly. That's pretty much what I want there. I find that typically when I'm working in GarageBand, it doesn't always output at the level that I want, but there is a way around that. So my song's still a little quiet for my taste. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap on this effects button here at the very top, and I'm going to hit record, and I'm just going to record something, just record anything, because we're going to delete it anyway. So tap on that and delete it, but we still have this effects track here at the bottom. And let's go to Visual EQ. And here we can adjust the volume of our entire song, which is awesome. Not only can you adjust the volume of the entire song, but you can raise the bass, lower the treble, raise treble, adjust the mids. You can do a lot right here. Okay, now that that's done, we're going to play through it. ladies and gentlemen, that is it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I had fun making it. I hope to do more of these in the future. If you like this video, please hit the like button and please subscribe to my channel for more content. Thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.